what we're looking at is, basically, I believe a business is only as good as the plan. And when I talk about plan and a blueprint, I'm not talking about some complicated 500-page document that you put in the drawer. Strat plan. Some people work really with strat plans in their heads, but if you don't have a plan, you're basically going to go nowhere. So if you don't have a specific plan to grow your wealth, okay, which is different than just making money, okay, I assume everyone in the room wants to make money and is trying to make money, but we're talking about wealth creation, which is a different thing. So you need a blueprint, and if you don't think it through, so that's basically, I'm just going to take you through some things and give you some ideas. Maybe you will see things today that you've never seen before, and some things that you already know. So, but I'm trying to, I would like to work where you are. Everyone's at a different place here. So if you already know a lot of the stuff, you can just wait for the rest of the people to kind of catch up to where you are. But we need to, I like to work with people from poverty right into wealth creation. So I work a lot with the poor. Okay, I work a lot with the poor, and so I don't just work with the rich. The rich meaning people that have got houses with running water and electricity. So I like to work with all different levels of people. So I'm gonna address this for anyone in this room and anyone in the country that will be able to help them from where they are. So depends where you are. Some people at the lower levels, higher levels, but you need a plan, and there's a journey. And wealth creation is a journey where there are like secrets that need to be unlocked. I don't know about you, but I wasn't ever taught by my father about wealth creation. They never taught it in my school. We had economics, which I didn't take. I had accounting, which I failed miserably. I hated accounts because they were teaching me about invoices, but they didn't teach me how to make money. I didn't know what an invoice was for then, but now I do. So I hated accounts and I hated school. Okay, because I was like born an entrepreneur, and generally, passionate entrepreneurs hate school, and I find that the school system is really against the entrepreneur. And the school system was designed to create workers for the wealthy. I don't know if you know that, but that's the history of the school system worldwide, especially the Western school system. Was created to make good workers who obeyed the rules and became qualified professionals that will do everything that's needed for the ones that had the money. You know the golden rule? You know the golden rule?
Which one?
Well, there's two. Good one. Which one? Okay. In the world, the golden rule is the one with the gold makes the rules. Did you know that? Have you seen that? And in Christian circles, it's the golden rule is love, or should be love. Let's say that. Okay. They are hidden. They're not on the surface. Treasure is not found just anywhere. You've got to search for treasure. And wealth is a treasure that we need to first of all learn ourselves. So we need a re-education, and we need to have a lifelong education. So I still study. Every night I study, and I've been studying for years. And I hated school. I would never think I would be studying for so much for so many years. But I'm always learning. I'm reading books, and hopefully you're doing the same. And a lot of stuff on the internet. I've been learning. I've been on my own PhD for the last 3 years, and that stands for past having doubts. And so hopefully you can also do your PhD and learn about what you need to be skilled in, whether it's whatever it is. It's on the internet. Whatever you need to learn. It's an amazing place if you know what you're looking for. Okay. So we're looking at financial freedom. What is financial freedom? Everyone's got a concept of what financial freedom. So I'll give you my definition. You might have a different one, but to me, financial freedom is the freedom to be able to fulfill your purpose and your dreams without being hindered by financial constraints. Not worrying about money. Let's say if you need to go to China, or you need to go to Brazil, or you need to go to Europe and do something, money is not your worry. Anyone there? Okay. So we need to aim for financial freedom so that you can do whatever you need to do to fulfill your purpose, and money is not a worry. Okay, and not a constraint. Okay. So is anyone interested? Okay, financial freedom. Okay? We're not talking about sitting on a yacht, smoking a Cuban cigar and drinking Dom Perignon. That's, some people think that's what it's about, just doing nothing, kind of rotting away. Now, I get bored quite easily, so I couldn't just sit there forever doing nothing. I'm always going to be doing something, but I don't want to be constrained by money. So just imagine the possibilities right now in your life if money wasn't an issue. And whatever dream you have, money at least wasn't going to be the limiting factor. What would you accomplish? Would your life change? Would your decisions change? Would your family change? Would your community change? So, as I said in the beginning, you need a proper plan. Get your plan. Work your plan. And those that fail to plan to fail. And that's the truth. Okay. Wealthy people that create wealth have a plan. They all have a plan. You'll find the people that are wealthy, they have a plan. You sit them down, ask them a few questions, you'll find that they had a plan. And they planned it for years. Some of them started planning when they were very young children. They said, look, I'll never be poor, because they grew up in a poor family, and they started to work their plan. Some got money different ways. We'll talk about the ways to get money. I'm going to teach you, not necessarily teach you, most of them you will know, but I will go through 6 different ways to get money. Okay? I'm not saying it's an exhaustive list. Just give you 6 ways to make money. All right. Now, one of the things that you need to do if you want to create wealth is to have multiple income streams. This is a fundamental. So this has got to be part of your plan. It's like your foundation. You need multiple streams. And where those streams to come together, you have a river. A river of wealth that can change not just your life, but those around you. So that you can fulfill your purpose. So a little bit about me. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Not serial anything else. Serial entrepreneur. That means I basically started as an entrepreneur a little bit after 2. Or 3. So that's not 2 or 3 in the morning, but 2. When I'm joking when I say 2, but I had it in my bones. I always wanted to make money. I was coming up with ideas. I grew up on a plot in Klip River. Don't know if you know where Klip River is. Klip Rivier near the Suikerbosrand, other side of Alberton, Gauteng. Okay. And I grew up there, and on a plot we had 24 horses, and didn't have too many friends. I had to sit on an hour on a school bus to get home, and I was thinking about making money. And I hated school, like I said, and I had a lot of time to think. So I thought, well, I did a lot of welding. I made things. I made chairs with horseshoes, just horseshoes, welded them together, welded horse boxes together, and then I made money with pigs. I built a pigsty, got the pigs going, killed the pigs, cut them up, and sold them in the townships. And then I bought a horse, and then I took a horse, trained the horse, sold the horse, and bought a car. And then I went to Technikon, Wits Technikon, and I did a marketing diploma there, and I was there, and no one paid for my education. So I had to take a student loan, which it took about 7 years to pay off after that, but it was a low interest. And then I used to sell solar heaters in that area, Norwood, Houghton area. Just tell you a funny story. One of the things that happened to me is I was, selling solar heaters in those days was a bit different today. Okay, so I was into clean energy a long time ago. That was back in 85. Okay, so I was selling solar heaters door to door, having encounters with dogs and all kinds of things. But normally you've got to climb in the roof to see what kind of geyser they got and how you're going to structure this thing. So I climb in this roof in this massive mansion in Houghton. I don't know if you know where Houghton is, but those houses are huge. It's like kind of old money there. And houses there are like massive. So I get in the roof, double-story house, And I didn't know that you should walk on the planks. So it was quite soon that I fell through the ceiling. And I was hanging onto the hot water pipe. And that thing broke. And so I had hot water spraying all over the place. The family heard the noise because I said, I'm just going to go on the roof. And the water was flowing down, obviously, off the panels with all the mud or whatever, coming down into their nice plush carpet. And the whole family standing there. The stranger. I'd been in the house for 15 minutes. They weren't laughing. I thought, no, this is the good time to get out of here and right now and disappear. So it was like, oh no. Anyway, that was just part of my sales experience. I had to obviously repair the damage and I lost the sale. Very disappointing. Anyway, that's where I learned to sell, and I learned a lot about selling there. But I always had ideas and everything like that going through my mind. I was bankrupt in 1988. I did things early in my life. Got bankrupt, did that. I was in a transport company. I knew nothing about transport. Everyone said you can make money in transport. So I went into transport, bought 2 trucks with a partner who didn't know anything about anything. And we went bankrupt. And I was like very young, going bankrupt at that stage. Lost the house, lost the car, everything. And then I started again. And then we got this idea to do a washing powder. And we launched a company called Classic Clean, which manufactured a product called BioClassic washing powder. Don't know if you've heard about BioClassic, but it's in all the supermarkets in the country. Anyway, that's a story in itself. I don't want to get into too much detail, but basically our first month's turnover was about 16,000 rand. And my function there was really to do the marketing and the sales. And that company, by only God's power and God's grace, went from strength to strength. We were doing like 1 million a month, 2 million a month, 3 million a month, 4 million a month. We had a 5-year battle with Unilever. They tried to close us down. It eventually was sorted out with the ASA. Not with the ASA. They took us to the ASA, Advertising Standards Authority. It was eventually sorted by the Competition Boards of South Africa. They stopped the whole fight. So we had a lot of publicity. We were in the Sunday Times front page. I was on Good Morning South Africa for half an hour with the battle. For 5 years. They were trying to distract us from what we were trying to do, which is take some of their market share. They weren't happy about that. You can imagine why. And then eventually, through lots of struggles and making about 12 million rands worth of debt. Okay? Our interest bill in 1997 per month was about 360,000 rand a month. Interest alone. Those days it was running about 24-25% interest rate. Back in I wouldn't say the good old days. 24% interest. 360, just to cover the interest bill is like a miracle. And eventually it was a whole story that we had to go through. We had to change a lot of things in our company. And basically what happened was, through God's intervention, we had to repent. And the company was turned around and we started making a profit. We paid off the 12 million rand debt. We covered from a 5 million rand loss. And after that we were making R1 million a month profit after salaries and everything. So that was in 2002. By 2002, 2001 we were making a lot of money. And then recently I started the Lion Group. And that's different groups of companies, but specifically the Biomatic washing powder, which Carl just told you about. And that's another washing powder. I'll tell you basically just now what happened to the BioClassic in short. And then the Lion Entrepreneur Academy, which is an entrepreneur academy. I like to coach business people and mentor. So what I've learned by all my mistakes and some of the successes is I'd like to help people at all ages, from 10 upwards, to not make the same mistake that I make, or made, and even make today. So I'm passionate about helping people to be successful, specifically in business, and that's really what I enjoy. I enjoy doing that. Okay, so I was at that stage financially free. Money didn't I had a problem. I was retired at 34. When I say retired, I didn't have to work. We had a team. We had 120 staff. We had a management team of 12 executives. I had basically resigned from the board. There was a marketing director that took my place. He was the head of the marketing. Very well qualified, very skilled person that took over from me. So I was then able to do what I was really purposed to do. And I started to work with the poor in Orange Farm, which is a township just south of Soweto. So that's not where it ended. That's just somewhere in my journey. I was financially free, and at that stage, somewhere along that stage, I met Neil, and our paths crossed. And at that stage, he was kind of coming out of bankruptcy when I met him. Okay, I was financially free, and I was making a lot of money, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So I was financially free until the carpet was pulled from under my feet. That's a story in itself, how the carpet was pulled out from under my feet. So I can give you a few tips on how not to get the carpet pulled from under from your feet, because you go into partnerships, and we went into a partnership, and we never had a partnership agreement. And now you got millions. And anyway, I wasn't the majority partner. I only had 21% of a company that was doing 100 million rand turnover. So what happened was certain partners decided to allow a management buyout because certain partners wanted the money out. I didn't want my money out. So I thought, well, they can't sell my shares, which they never sold my shares, but they got their money out, and my shares were sold effectively without me signing a document. Now, over the years, I've been advised by advocates, one attorney, that I could still take the people to court, which I decided at that stage not to do. The Bible says you can't take your brother to court. So I lost a lot of money. I did get some money out from that. But my entire business was taken away from me. Now, God forbid that happens to you. But today I want to just warn you and say, do not think that your business is secure. I don't care what business you're in. That's why I said early on, multiple income streams. Do not depend on one business for your income stream. Okay? So, we're going to look at my big mistake. Hopefully you can learn from this. If I could have it all again, there were certain things I wouldn't do. Hopefully you would, you'd also do things different from your life, if you've learned at least from your mistakes. So mistakes is not a problem as long as you learn from them. This one cost me a lot. And it's still costing me. Okay, but I'm on the way back to recover from this loss. But along the way back, there were some mistakes or opportunities that I missed. And we don't want you to miss these opportunities. Okay. My mistake was I only had one stream. And I thought that one stream couldn't be taken from me. And it was. Look, it was another person that would have just sued whoever. And whatever would have happened out of that. But that wouldn't have been a very, very good thing for me. And I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to take them to court. That was my mistake. Don't do that. Don't put all your eggs in one proverbial basket. Okay? If you can go away with one thing from our presentation today, do not put all your eggs in one basket. So creating wealth is not an accident. It doesn't just happen by accident. Otherwise it could end up as a bit of a train smash. Okay? So it doesn't happen by accident. You've got to plan it. In those days, I wasn't planning my wealth creation. I was financially free. Everything was debt free. House paid off. There was no debt in the company. And we were making $1 million a month. Back in those days, $1 million a month was a lot of money. Isn't it? It's still a lot today. But then, it was a lot of money. Cash. So I had a very good cash flow. Plus I had a salary. And I wasn't working. Okay? So you have a choice today. And you have a choice every day. You've got alternatives. So today we're going to give you a few alternatives. So each of you have got a profession. You're doing something. You're either in business, you're a professional, you're having a salary or something like that. But you've got to consider your alternatives. You've got to give some thought to this thing. Okay? So you have alternatives. You need a blueprint. You need your strat plan. I'm talking about a 2-page strat plan, a 5-page strat plan, not a long strat plan. So I'm going to give you a little questions you can write down. We can also email you the presentation. So if you're on our list and you can subscribe, we've got you on our list now. If you've registered the back, we'll email you the presentations so you can have the points. I just want you to really listen so that you can get these things. I'm going to give you 6 ways you can get money. And I'm going to exclude the following: savings accounts, government bonds, RAs, retirement annuities, insurance policies, and fixed deposits. Those are not really, that's not how you make money. Okay? Please do not put your money there. If you want to increase it, if you want to save it, maybe you will use some of those. But do not try and make money with any of those. Okay? They're not geared for your wealth creation. They're geared, most of them, for other people's wealth creation. But it's not yours. All right. Okay, it's like, you never thought of that one. I mean, that never, stealing is not something that, you thought that this is going to be the first thing I'm going to teach you today. I'm not teaching you how to steal. I'm just saying it's an option. It's an alternative lifestyle. They talk about alternative lifestyle. Stealing is one of the ones that are quite popular today, and it's increasing in popularity across the world. Doesn't matter what government, there's a lot of stealing going on. Okay? Now, you get acceptable theft. Acceptable theft is basically tax evasion. You know what I mean? So, look, now it's gone a bit quiet now. But actually, going out entertaining a wife and putting it through as entertainment is acceptable theft. Except if it's SARS. SARS doesn't think that's acceptable. So if they catch you doing that, you could have a problem. Hiding your VAT, double invoicing, those are acceptable theft. Your mates won't be too upset and think you bad if you scored from the taxman. I had a guy tell me, I'll answer now. He said to me, this is an accountant. He said to me, because he was evading tax and being an accountant, he knew how to do it. So he said, I said, how do you justify that? He says, no, every pothole I go through, I deduct. I said, what? I mean, what a way to go. In Gauteng, I don't know about here, but Gauteng, there's a lot of potholes. So he was deducting. And he says, that's how I work it. I said, how much, so how do you deduct and what amount? And does SARS know? Pothole deductions. But anyway, you can justify it anyway. But there's all legitimate ways of stealing. Doesn't justify it anyway. All right. Question?
This is a Christian group that we with here.
That's it. Hopefully, yeah. You just said, is this a Christian group? Well, look. Let's not talk about Christians. Some of them are actually very qualified at stealing. Hopefully, well, we're not supposed to be, but anyway, that's just somehow how the dice falls. As the dice falls on gambling. Next one is gambling. Okay? Now, I'm not saying this is the way you should choose, but these are your options. Really, you've got options today. You can make money by stealing, gambling. Okay? Not going to tell you how to do it. You got the lottery, and then you got derivatives. And much of the stock market is gambling. Okay? Just pure gambling. All right. So, I don't know if you know how derivatives work, but that's really gambling. And it was created to move money around the earth, and it's a whole scam behind derivatives, but it's actually not a solid system at all. Okay, but that's one of the things that will cause the whole system to collapse sooner or later. All right, so gambling is an option. All right, another way is a marvelous way. I like this one. It's inheritance. Okay? You can't do too much about this one. That means your father or your mother or a rich uncle gives you a lot of money. I don't know. Anyone inherit millions? Yeah. Seriously, no one? No, I didn't inherit anything. All right, so we're not talking about old money here. You know what old money is? 3rd, 4th generation wealth that was passed on by your parents. And that's one of the objectives, is to basically make you old money. Well, your children and your children's children should be old money. Okay? Like in Europe, you find old money. You go there and you see these buildings. You go, who owns all these things? You'll see families own land barons, whatever. Money being in their family for generations. Generational wealth is one of the keys to real wealth. Okay? Selling your business is like selling your wealth and selling your family. If it's a multi-generational business, you build something up and you cash in your chips. What do you do with money? Oh, now you're going to put it where? On the stock market and lose it? If you really don't know what you're doing, you've got to be an expert to make money on the stock market. Even today, you've got to be a real expert. Or you're going to put it where? Where are you going to put money? Okay, so it's very difficult to make money just by putting money somewhere and giving it to someone else. You need to be able to invest your money. You can marry money. Some people, they write it down in their minds. I will marry money. You're going to look for a rich woman? No, that's an option. A rich man, and you marry them. People make money like this. That's a business. Marrying. So I'm just, we've got to consider these things. And you say no. Okay, hopefully most of you have said no, like you said, Christian group. Okay, no. Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. So you need to prepare for your children's inheritance. We're talking multi-generational inheritance and income. Okay, we get onto the more legitimate ones, like a job. How many of you got a job? You got someone that pays you a salary. Okay, all right. Now, this includes those that are self-employed, because you just pay yourself, and then you pay yourself, and you get money. All right, that's self-employed. You still got a boss. You might not like him or her, but they are there. Okay, all right. This is a key. This is something you've got to teach your children. Most people, no, you're not teach them this, but this is the mistake. Most people teach their children that money comes through work. You say, doesn't it? Well, it's not gambling. It's not inheritance. It's not stealing. You say money doesn't come through work. Well, some of the money comes through work, but most of the money that's made is not made through working. It's made through money working for you. And that's a complete paradigm shift. If you can get money working for you, you can become wealthy. If you don't make that shift, you will always be working time-related to get money. You stop working, the money stops coming in. So you are enslaved to time equals money. That's your equation. So if you want to know if you're financially free, stop working. All right. That's your test. That's an acid test. Just stop working. The wealthy people today are not working for money. Money is working for them. Okay? So the majority of wealth is made in the earth. I'm talking about the trillions that is made by money working for them. And those people that have money working for them have companies, have employees, have boards, and they do all the work, and they get dividends. Understand? The shareholders are the ones that call the shots. They are the ones that employ directors. Okay. So if you work for money, you will never become financially free, or hardly ever, if you only work for money. The moment you stop working, okay, let's just blow the whole retirement system into the sea, because that doesn't work. The retirement system is, you start in a company with a good qualification, preferably a degree that they like, that can fit in with their factory mentality, whether you're an accountant, lawyer, whatever, you're part of the factory, you've got to produce, and after the 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, they give you a gold watch. And then you've invested in a provident fund and a retirement annuity, which gives you the same money that you put in. That's unfortunately the reality. In fact, less money than you put in. Do you know that? That's reality. Okay? Can you imagine? And that makes us like angry birds. But I won't steal the thunder there. He's done a whole video on this. Angry Bird video, Neil. He gets very upset when we talk about these things. He's got a t-shirt with an Angry Bird on. So, it's like serious. This is serious. Can you imagine working your whole life under this illusion that you've got a Provident Fund or RA that's going to be able to pay for your children's education, which it cannot. And like Neil shared some stories. Or you're going to retire, and when you cash it in, you're able to buy a laptop, and not even a top one. That's what happened with someone Neil's personal family member. They were able to buy a computer with their money. Can you imagine? Getting to whatever, 65, 60, whenever you are, and suddenly you cash in with a laptop. Okay, you can start a new career on internet marketing or something, but it's not the time really to start. Okay, so there's one big difference. The poor and the middle class are taught to work for money. They are taught this. This is taught at schools. This is taught by your parents. Johnny, you got to work hard at school, get a good qualification, and get a good job. Then you get a house, bond a house, pay it off, and get this is it. Get a long career and don't leave the company. Just be loyal. Okay. That's the old school system. Okay, well, school's out, and that system doesn't work. The wealthy made the education system to make you obedient slaves to a system that gives you a professional qualification to work for them. So when we had our company, okay, I don't even have a degree. And the other partners didn't have degrees either. We were just entrepreneurs. We employed people with PhDs and doctor degrees and engineers and whatever. We employed all those people. They worked nicely. They were trained in an institution to actually earn a salary. And most of them are still doing that for some other company. Because when Tiger Brands took over our company eventually, they retrenched the people, all of them. We didn't get retrenched. But all the people got retrenched, 98% of them. And then they were looking for another job. Okay. So you need to teach your children from a young age. Son, daughter, let's sit down, let's discuss wealth creation. Getting a good education isn't wealth creation. It's becoming a slave. I'm not against education. But if you're relying on your education to look after your family, it's going to be sadly disappointed when you come to retirement age. Some careers, they can be profitable. But a very few careers can actually make you so much money that you can retire off that money and live off the interest at 6% interest. And if you go overseas, it's 2% or 1%. You're going to have to live off that interest. You're going to have to really scrape through to live off that interest. Now, I'm talking retirement, meaning you're not working anymore. Because you're living your whole life with this dream. I'm going to retire. Most people sort of die at the coast, so they want to retire at the coast. I don't believe in retirement. I'm a bit different. I'm not going to ever retire, meaning stop working. I'll just go into different lines of occupation and purposes that I want to do. So that's when I was 34. I didn't stop working and go on a yacht. I started working with the poor. Because I've got a different purpose. Okay. That's the middle class man. That's the person that is solely focused on the education. That's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Shoveling money. Working for money. You were not created to work for money. Money must be under your feet, not on top of your head. When you get a hold of this, it can change your whole life. When you have a different paradigm when it comes to money. What are the wealthy taught? The wealthy are taught how to get money to work for them. They have a different mentality. They have an inheritance mentality. Dad's going to leave me the money. Leave me this thing. Some of them mess it up because they weren't trained properly. And the ones that are wealthy, first generational wealth, always get into a place where they can actually, they don't have to work. And they have money working for them. Either through, and I'll show you the different ways, but One of the ways is through business. Not just business. I'm talking corporations, not just business. Not self-employed. Self-employed doesn't get you free. Self-employed gets you a seed, but not freedom. And I mean self-employed, you've got your own business. You might even have a few staff members. And if you stop working, the business shuts. You're self-employed. Does the business depend on you? And if you disappear, the business collapses? You're self-employed. Okay, at least you can fire yourself, hire yourself again. You can all kind of be flexible, pay yourself what you want. That's if there's money in the company. You can overwork as much as you like. All that kind of stuff. But you're not financially free. You're just getting seed. So, the rich, the wealthy, have got a different paradigm. They employ the poor and the middle class. So, you've got to think either you're the tail or you're the head. And if you're the head, you've got to think, I'm going to create a corporation. Now, not everyone in this room is designed or purposed to be a corporate man or woman. A corporate man and woman, he's got the talents and the skills to raise up a corporation, hand it over, and it runs better when you're not there than when you're there. That is a skill. I like to help people do that. So if you want help to do that, I can help you do that. To get to a place where you've got systems in place and people in place that are better than you, and when you leave, you come back from holiday, you've got more money. Isn't that nice? Not phone calls. When you're in America, hello, what's happening here? We spoke to a guy yesterday, and he was telling us he's tired of this business because he's making $200,000 a month or $400,000 a month, and he's tired of that. He's a bit bored. He's 34. He's bored. He wants something that makes money when he's not working, and he's tired of this business. And he was talking to us about investment properties in Polokwane. But I think Neil will tell you more about him. But anyway, that was quite an eye-opener. He kind of was where I was, 34. They know what a real asset is. And they know how to get money working for them. Like I said, the self-employed are consultants and contractors, one-man band, even a two-man band. You've got a business, you've got a few employees, but the problem is, when you stop working, time equals money for you. You stop working, you stop earning. Now, it's not something you do intentionally. You're sitting there and say, well, that's me. Okay, that's you. There's a way to get out of it. But you've got to do it through intent, strategically thinking, write your plan and work your plan. It's called wealth creation plan, not just a business plan. This is another kind of plan. Our people with business plans, but this is a wealth creation plan. It's not a business plan. Small business, a lot of you in small business here. Small business is a business that works only when you're there. Okay? It's great. It's a great way to get seed. When you stop working, you stop earning. That's a good question, isn't it? What happens if you stop working today? How much money are you going to earn in the next 12 months? Physically, you do nothing. If you cannot answer that with confidence, you need a wealth creation plan. You must generate your plan. Otherwise, you're going to feel like that. Who's that? I would normally be the bank manager. Your creditors, your staff, whatever. Because you are the kingpin. And some people say it, especially entrepreneurs. If I'm not there, nothing's going to work. And you know, if you want things done right, then you've got to do it. Who? Wealthy people don't say that. Now, a wealthy person says, if I want to do it right, I hire someone better than me. An insecure person says, no, if you want to do it right, hire me. And then he hires himself as he's got a connection with himself. I'm the man. I'm the man. He hires a few people who burn him out of the system because they don't know how to train people. They don't know how to motivate people. And then they blame it on the people. People are just useless. That's it. Okay? And they work for years and years and years telling everyone, actually, I'm the man. So yeah, you're the man. Stop working. You'll see you were the man. Because you are the business. That's not wealth creation. That's just another level of slavery. So the answer is diversify. Okay? Investing in real assets. Which begs the question, do you know what a real asset is? If you had to write up a balance sheet right now, and hopefully you've all read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Read that book again and again because there are gems there. I'm not saying I agree with everything in the book, but there's gold there. There's wisdom there. And he talks about this concept of what a real asset is. So if you had to write down, you know when you go to the bank, they say assets and liabilities. What do you put on the assets column? Normally people would put their car, their house, and their furniture. And then actually those aren't assets at all. Okay? An asset generates income when you stop working. How many of those do you have? And some people unfortunately think they're going to do that through RAs and the insurance companies. And the only ones that make money in the insurance companies are the shells. Not you. You're just loaning them the money so they can buy buildings, by the way, and stocks and shares. But they make the real increase. You just get an admin fee, which they determine. And then, obviously, you're not allowed to take your money out because you got some tax benefit which sucked you in because everyone wants this tax benefit. But you didn't realize how much that tax benefit is costing you. You gave them your seed. So a real asset grows in value over time. And like I said, an asset is not your car, your home, or your holiday house. Those are liabilities. A liability is something that costs you money every month. Does your house cost you money? Yes. Doesn't even if it's cash, it's still costing you money. Does your car cost you money? Yes. An asset brings you money without you having to work for it. So how many assets do you really have? So we're here to help you to get at least one asset, then hopefully 10. Okay? So you need to grow your income base. You need to look at real business opportunities that can grow into real businesses. These are different ways that you can grow your assets. Buying shares in the right company, very risky, and you better know what you're doing. I don't recommend that one. Some people have made a lot of money by investing in stocks and shares. So I won't exclude it. I tried that. I lost hundreds of thousands. But look, you can also try if you want. It's just not for me. That's not for me at all. I like running and starting businesses. Okay, here's another option. And just now, Neil will just tell you exactly how to do this, but we're talking about property investment, not property development. Just a point there. And there's a big difference. I'm not saying you can't make money in property development, but then you need to be an expert. You need to know what you're doing. But property investment, specifically in buy-to-rent, and Neil will go into more depth. Basically, let your tenants pay for your children's education. Don't you like that? How much work is involved if you've got a management company managing your portfolio and the tenant every month is paying off your bond? Because you don't have to do it cash. Okay, so when you're on holiday in the Bahamas or wherever, money's coming into your account. And you don't have to train the tenant or anything. Someone's doing that for you. To pay, because that's all you have to train them to do. They must be trained to pay. If they don't pay, you get someone that's trained. That's basic. And Neil's an expert at training tenants to pay. They get to train. You need to train them. He knows how to train tenants. He's got over 90 tenants that he's trained. Okay? That's very important. I'm not good at that. That's not my game at all. And that's basically part of my big mistake. My big mistake back in the day with Neil was he was doing this with no money. He was going to invest in property with no money, getting 100 and 110% bonds back in 2001, 2002. And he came to me and he was telling me what he was doing. I said, that's great for you. But, I was quite secure, earning like hundreds of thousands a month, thinking I'm okay, that's good. I love business. Property I'm not interested in because you're going to have tenants phoning at 2 in the morning and I don't want to get into debt. Those are two things. But I could have done it cash. I could have bought 2 townhouses a month. But I didn't want to do it because I was focused on what I was doing, and I didn't want to do it primarily because no one was there to take care of the properties. Neil then built up a whole company doing property management, which he charges a fee for. But I would have been happy, because in those days he wasn't offering me that service. Now he can. But in the meantime, I lost millions because I didn't do what he was doing. So that was one of my mistakes. It's a friend of mine, I didn't listen to him. You know, with friends, you think you don't listen to them often. Yeah, it's nice for you. But actually, if I really thought it through, I should have said, diversify. Immediately. Do what Neil's doing. Didn't realize the carpet was coming from under my feet. Okay, so today when Neil talks, please listen to him. Because I've seen him, and God bless him, but He's blessed him, but he's had the wisdom to actually create millions out of nothing. Millions out of nothing. I'm talking about nothing, not a cent. He made millions. Okay, so you don't have to have millions today to make millions. He just had wisdom. And he took action. So you have your tenants pay for your retirement. And while you are retired and doing your next level of calling or purpose, you got people paying your salary every month. Isn't that nice? And not just one townhouse, 20 or 10. Depends how much you want to earn. This guy was saying to us he worked it out. He wants what, 200K a month? 100K? He worked it out? 20 townhouses. So that's how many townhouses he wants. He's got a whole lot of cash, so we were just strategizing with him yesterday. How he's going to step up into this process. He's 34, but he's already seen the light. He says he's bored with his business. He doesn't want to work so hard anymore. So, no, okay. We can help you with that. So he's kind of like where I was, but he's now talking to the right person. I'm not a property expert. He is. I've got my other areas which I focus on. So that's really what buy-to-rent property is all about. Month by month, earning more and more, not just through your tenants' rent. That's just your income one day. But immediately you get a capital growth every year, which is the real kick. And if you're never going to sell it, that's not a problem. But he bought properties that were worth 130,000 that are worth today 500, 600, 700,000. How much did he put in? Nothing. Okay, it's like playing Monopoly and winning. Who likes Monopoly? Geez, I used to love I haven't played it, but geez, when I play it, I want to win. But you can own every stand. Some people have lost their shirts buying stands. Please don't buy stands. Unless you're really a property developer. People try and buy stands unless you've got like something you can flip over quickly. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's high risk. But a stand will not bring you money every month. I'm talking about if you want annuity income, you need something that you... Remember with Monopoly, you buy the stand and then you got to put a house on it. 2 houses, 3 houses, 4 houses, and then you get a little red one. A hotel, and then you cash in. Okay? Then you win the game. Mayfair, you know, Okay. So learn at least from Monopoly. And like I said, another way to make... it's a real asset. Is a successful corporation. I would suggest you get a business coach if you really think you're going to build up a corporation, meaning that you're going to build in a board, a management team to run your company so that you can leave as soon as possible. And if you don't want to ever leave, that's fine. You stay self-employed. You build a brand. Okay? You build a team. The business runs when you're not there. That's a corporation. It's a fantastic asset. And to me, it's by far the most powerful solution. If you have the skills, and not everyone is called and or purposed to do that. It is by far the best way to make a lot of money. But for those who are not skilled and don't think, well, I want to build this big company up, that's fine. There's property investment. So it's for the man in the street that doesn't want to start a whole new business to say, you're slogging away. And what are you getting when you slog? You're getting something to invest. Okay, which I'm going to show you 3 steps just now. So the question is, where are you now? Look at this list that I've given you, because those are your options. There might be some more other than the ones that I've given you. I've given you 6 different ways to get money. You can choose which ones you want. Teach your children this. You've got options here. The options are on the table. Neil will give you some options. I've got other options. So you have to choose which way you're going to go. You've heard? You can choose. Now, I'm going to give you steps. 3 simple steps that you can put in your blueprint. The first one is secure and develop your primary income stream now. This is your seed. Now, because we're in Avo country, you will see something familiar there, hopefully. I just want to know, how many of you are invested in Avo trees? Have you got Avo? I mean, you're surrounded by Avos. And we love Avos because long ago, Neil came up with this analogy that a townhouse is like an Avo tree. You plant it takes years, and you get fruit, and you just keep that tree. You don't cut the tree down after 2 years and say, look, I made a profit. I got all the wood, and I've sold a couple of... It's like, what did you kill? The golden goose that laid the eggs? That happened with my previous company. They sold the company. And what did we get? Money. What do I want? Money. I want something that makes money, not money. Every month I want something that generates money. Because when you got the money, what are you going to do? Put on the stock market? Start another business? All these kinds of options. It's like, so you don't just want cash. You want regular cash coming from something. So you need a seed. So don't get discouraged today if you're in your own let's say you've got your own, you're self-employed, you've got a job, that is seed money. Now seed money is very valuable. It's your blood, your sweat and your tears and your time. So whatever you're doing today to generate income, that income, some is for expenses and some is seed. A good farmer does not eat all his seed and does not waste his seed. Okay? So the seed is expensive and it's very costly. The first thing, so focus on increasing your seed. The second thing is, this is very simple, save the extra income. This is your seed money. Beware of the killers. Killer number 1, lifestyle. You want to keep up with the Joneses or the Zoomers? Depends today. Okay? It's very expensive. And they don't even know you or like you. And now you want to get a new car, and new this, and new this, and new this, because so-and-so's got one. And to do it, you don't even do it with cash. You do it with debt. Terrible. Spending to impress others. Lifestyle debts. There we go. All those options you've got. That is taking away your future. Because if you save that money and said, all right, I'm going to save it up and I'm going to put it into alternative income streams. What are you doing today? And unfortunately, I'll give you killer number 2. I call it investing in false assets. Guess what they are? Angry bird stuff. RAs and insurance policies. So you think your 2,000 Rand policy is going to help you retire. Now your 2,000 Rand policy will just be like a savings account. Hopefully you'll get the same amount you put in once you take into inflation into it. Fixed deposits. That's a killer. Alright, you're not going to get wealthy with a fixed deposit. It's fine for a holding account. For seed, it's fine it's like a silo. Put it in the silo and then wait for the right opportunity to buy an asset. Remember what an asset is? Something that generates income without you working. Big question for those deposits and RAs. Do they outstrip inflation? If they don't, you're not growing your wealth. You're just making someone else very rich with billions. All right, number 3, invest in real assets. We've discussed that. You know what to do there. So, that's your question. When will you start with your blueprint? It's up to you.